Good evening and happy New Year's Eve. Can you believe that in just a few short hours, we'll have a brand new year? Sometimes it feels like 2021 flew by, but honestly, it seems like it was probably the longest year ever. Maybe even longer than 2020. Now, I've been low-key celebrating my birthday today. It's my 50th, and to tell you the truth, I don't feel any different than when I turned 40. Like I said on Wednesday morning's episode, age is only a number to say how long you've been on this planet. Well, nothing says Happy New Year like murder, creepers, and other gruesome crimes. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight on What the Friday.
Welcome to What the Friday, the After Dark series presented by Mystery, Murder, and Magic. Listener discretion is advised.
On New Year's Eve of 2015, an Alabama couple were startled to find something creepy going on outside of their Vestavia Hills home. Danielle Yancey and her husband Bart discovered the man when they noticed something moving on their patio. Now, the man was wearing only a Ronald Reagan mask and a sack on his private parts. In a Facebook post, Danielle said that when the streaker saw them, he ran and her husband went after him. Well, just a few minutes later, another caller from the same area called the local police, reporting seeing the naked man outside of their home too. Now, the naked man did return to the Yancey's home again, but this time he came back to apologize. He said that he had been put up to it as a prank by a group of friends and he meant no harm. Now, if you're a reality show fan, you may recognize Danielle's name. She once starred on Bravo's Jersey Belle. In 2017, a couple from Canada decided to ring in the new year by getting married on New Year's Eve. When they returned home around 2 a.m., they found a party taking place in their home. Now, apparently, the couple's home is listed on Airbnb, and in their mad rush of wedding planning, they forgot to turn off the ability of the home being rented during that time period. 2 bedrooms were rented out, but the guests promised not to cause any problems. I guess they thought a party would be no problem. And that party, y'all, was one for the books. When the newlyweds entered their home, an all-out orgy with a ton of drugs was taking place. Now, later that day, those guests, they cleaned up their mess that they had made, left, and then they gave the homeowners a 5-star review. And I'll also say that the couple had tried to cancel the reservations, but they were unable to. Now, here in South Carolina, a 19-year-old man was arrested for a fatal shooting at a motel. Around 11:30 on New Year's Eve 2020, police received a call about a shooting at the Red Roof Inn in Columbia. When they arrived on the scene, they found a man who had been shot in the lower region of his body. The man was transported to a nearby hospital where he later died from his injuries. In January of this year, William Moore-Holly turned himself into police, and Moore-Holly has been charged with murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. On New Year's Eve in 2015, a 23-year-old man murdered his own mom and decapitated her. Christian Gomez said that, he was there with his mom where he lived. And for a couple of days, she had been asking him to move some boxes from the attic for her. She wanted to put away Christmas decorations. Well, he had had enough of what he called her nagging him, so he attacked her with an axe that was in the garage. He repeatedly struck her with the axe until she was decapitated. After killing her, he put her body outside by the trash, her head in a trash can, then he left the scene on a bicycle. There's a lot more to this story, though. Before any of this ever happened, Christian was diagnosed as schizophrenic and was taking medicine for it. He loved his alone time. Sometimes he would hear echoes, and at night, he'd flip his mattress like we were standing up by the bed because he would hear voices coming from underneath his bed. Now, in the case of his mom, he was charged with first-degree murder, but a Florida judge found him mentally incapable of standing trial and ordered that he be evaluated again in 6 months. Christian's mom, Maria, knew about her son's illness and hoped that one day he would recover from it. She drove him to countless psychiatrist appointments and therapy sessions. She paid for his prescription medicine, and when he had refused to take it, she would crush the pills and add it to his food. But when Christian found out that she was putting his medication in his food, he swore that she was trying to poison him. Now, Maria was a single mom doing everything she could to help Christian. His sister, who also lived in the home, and she's also named Maria, said that Christian told his therapist that he felt like a burden to their mom, and he was also paranoid, thinking that his mom and sister were watching him through the TV. In the days leading up to the murder, Christian's condition worsened. His brother Mario was visiting from Virginia, and the two brothers spent a lot of time arguing. It wasn't often that their mom got to see Mario because he lived so far away, and so she spent a lot of time with Mario while he was there. This brought out a jealous streak in Christian, and he would spend a lot of time in his room while Mario was there. After the family ate dinner on New Year's Eve, Maria, their mother, dropped off Maria, the daughter, at her job at Little Caesars and drove back home. Mario says that the last time he saw his mom alive, she was listening to music in her room. Mario says that he was reading when Christian sat down in front of him on the floor, stared at him for a few minutes, and then left the room. From there, Christian asked their mom if she still wanted him to bring down boxes from the attic so that they could put away the Christmas decorations, and when Maria told him yes, the two headed into the garage. Mario says that shortly after the two went to the garage, he heard a thump, but he thought it was the boxes they were bringing down, so he didn't pay it much attention. A friend arrived at the home so that Maria could dye her hair, and when she looked into the garage, she saw Christian standing there with a Swiffer, a bucket, and a broom. He was mopping up what the friend thought was red paint. Well, she called Maria's cell phone, but she had to leave a voicemail. She was wanting to tell Maria that Christian was behaving rather strangely. She also sent Maria a text, but when Maria didn't reply to either of those, the friend left. Now, Mario, who was still inside reading, noticed that the house was very quiet, so he decided to investigate. Maria wasn't in her room, so he went to the garage. Once he was there, he saw a trail of blood and followed it all the way to the front door. Once he was out there by the front door, he found his mom's headless body and called 911. Just blocks away, Christian came up to some neighbors who were playing poker in a garage and asked them for a beer. They instead gave him a bottle of water, and when that neighbor, his name was Ronald Quick, he approached Christian with the bottle of water, he saw blood on Christian's ankles. Christian rode away on his bicycle, but when the neighbor spotted helicopters, he put two and two together and called 911. Back at Maria's home, police were finding her head in a trash can. Soon, Christian was located and taken to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office in Dundon for questioning. Christian told him that he had been thinking about killing Maria for the past 2 days. When he grabbed that axe and swung it at her, he was very angry. In his own words, he said he had finished her. Now, after spending 3 years in a mental hospital, Christian was deemed competent to stand trial. In 2018, Gomez accepted a plea bargain. He had been facing life in prison, but with the plea bargain, the sentence is reduced to 25 years in prison, followed by 10 years of probation and treatment. He'd probably only spend 20 years in prison, though, if the time that he had already served is factored in. Christian's family says that prison is an injustice for anyone suffering a mental illness, and he should be sentenced to a mental health facility instead. For the 5 years that Christian had been diagnosed with a mental illness, Maria had tried to find him help, somewhere that could watch him 24 hours a day when it became too much for her. Christian had started acting inappropriately around his younger sister, so at that point, their mother knew that he couldn't be left home alone together. Sadly, help for the mentally ill in Florida is inadequate, just like it is pretty much anywhere else in America. There's simply not enough facilities or beds for these patients. Christian wouldn't receive 24/7 care until after he decapitated his mom, but for how long? At that point in 2018, for him to stay put in a mental health facility, he would have to be declared insane. And why would that be a bad thing? Because if doctors were to decide later that he's no longer a danger to the public and the court agrees, Christian could possibly be set free with absolutely no conditions set on his release. And we know there's no cure for his condition, so that definitely would be a dangerous situation. Now, I looked high and low, searched every way I knew to search, but I couldn't find anything past 2018 on that case. I don't know if he stood trial. I feel like if he had stood trial, it would probably be easy to find online. But if I do ever come across more on this case in Florida, I will definitely update. Well, y'all, it's time. I know it was a short one tonight, but tonight we get ready to welcome in a new year. Y'all have a good night, and I hope 2022 is much better for everyone.